Good evening. This is the agenda and the Planning and Consultation Committee meeting to be held on the 11th of March, commencing at 7 p.m. Members of the public are advised the meeting will be live streamed and recorded, and the live stream recording will be made publicly available on YouTube and Council's website. So thank you. Acknowledgement of country. Nillumbik Shire Council respectfully acknowledges the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people as the traditional owners of the country on which Nillumbik is located, and we value the significance of the Wurundjeri people's history as essential to the unique character of the Shire. We pay tribute to all First Nations people living in Nillumbik, give respect to elders past, present and future, and extend that respect to all First Nations people. I also acknowledge the most marginalised Indigenous Australians that suffer from the impacts of colonisation, with disproportionately high rates of incarceration, low levels of literacy and low life expectancy, that the bipartisan Closing the Gap initiative achieves real and lasting outcomes for these Indigenous Australians. Okay, any apologies this evening? No apologies. Any declarations of conflict of interest? None of those either. Okay, if we can go to the first item, which is to confirm the minutes of the Planning and Consultation Committee and the Extraordinary General Meeting. Do I have a mover for that motion? Councillor Perkins, thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Cope, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'll move that the committee acting under delegation of Council 1 confirms the minutes of the Planning Consultation Committee meeting held on Tuesday, the 13th of August, and 2 confirms the minutes of the Extraordinary Planning and Consultation Committee meeting held on Tuesday, 17th of December 2024.
Thank you. And Councillor Cope? You second that? Okay. All those in favour, please raise your hands. I declare that carried. Okay. So we now move to the officer reports, and we have the MAV state motions. Do I have a mover? Councillor Joyner.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker. I'd like to move that committee acting under delegation from Council moves the motion as per the papers with the following amendments. At point 1, replacing 4 motions with 3 motions. And in addition, point 3, resolves to appoint Councillor John Demerick as the substitute delegate to the Municipal Association of Victoria for the State Council.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Mackay, thank you.
Yes, happy to second, no comment.
Okay, thank you. If councillors would like to speak to the motion, Councillor Joyner. No? Councillor Mackay?
No, thank you.
Okay. Any other councillors wish to speak? Okay.
Look, I will speak. Yes, thank you.
We have Councillor Perkins. Thank you.
Look, I think certainly the motion, the second motion, and that is that the MEV advocates for Victorian Government to establish a dedicated funding program aimed at supporting advocacy upgrades to ageing community infrastructure and open spaces in municipalities across municipalities like Nillumbik Shire. And this program should ensure compliance with disability standards 2010 and universal design principles, including sensory considerations, increase the number of designated accessible parking spaces, and developing continuous accessible pathways, especially around community facilities, parks, trails, and community transport hubs, enhancing social connection, participation and mobility for people with disabilities, and fostering more inclusive communities. So I'm the chair of Council's Access and Inclusion, or Inclusion and Access Advisory Committee, and largely works around making facilities in Nillumbik available to all ages and all stages, people with disabilities, people without. So really what we're seeking from the state government in this motion is more dedicated funding that will aim to increase the number of disability compliant facilities we have across Nillumbik Shire. You don't have to go very far to find how disadvantaged people with disabilities are in Nillumbik when they can't access sporting facilities. There's probably no tennis pavilion, I believe, that someone in a wheelchair or with mobility issues could access. Toilets, of course, aren't compliant. There has been a move in recent years to upgrade football social rooms and cricket club rooms. There's still even a lot of work to be done there. But, you know, if you broaden the scope right across the facilities that Nillumbik provide for all of its residents and other people visiting, there are a lot of people who are precluded from enjoying those facilities because of the lack of disability compliance. It's not just an issue for Nillumbik, it's an issue for every municipality in the state. And I'd certainly throw my support behind all three motions, but particularly that one. So it'd be good to have dedicated funding for disability compliance. I think about the Diamond Creek outdoor pool and the fact that if you're in a wheelchair, you'd have to be lowered into the pool with the aid of a hoist. It does the job, but it's not a very flattering way to enjoy the facilities there. Ideally, a facility like that, so an aged outdoor seasonal pool, and there's many of those across Victoria that will hopefully receive some funding. Ideally, you want to have ramp access like we have at the Alpha Leisure Centre or Watermark or other municipal pools across particularly urban Melbourne, but I'll finish there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Perkins. Look, I just think some closing remarks from the Chair. I would agree with Councillor Perkins. It would be good to see all these motions supported at the conference. Just a comment on libraries as the Chair of the Library Board. We do know we have some empirical evidence to show that membership, for instance, of the Diamond Valley Library, for instance, is 30% from residents who do not live in Nillumbik. And likewise, the Diamond Creek Pool, being the only outdoor public pool in the northern area of Melbourne, attracts usage from far wider catchment than its immediate surrounds. So, you know, asking for funding really can often get lost in this whole growth area argument. But what I think that misses is the fact that a number of these assets are attracting patrons from those growth areas to the assets that we have to maintain and renew. So it's not just a simple thing to say it's a population-driven process, and so that is why you ought not get that funding. So our maintenance renewal costs of libraries and pools are obviously impacted by these growth areas that are to our immediate surrounds, and particularly in Diamond Creek, the pool, but also the libraries. That was all. So thank you, councillors. I declare the meeting closed. No, I don't declare the meeting closed. Rookie mistakes. We need to vote, and then we need to do all sorts of things. So can all those in favour of that motion please raise their hands? Okay, thank you. I declare that carried. Okay, we're moving on to supplementary and urgent business, and there is no supplementary and urgent business. We're moving on to confidential reports, and there are no confidential reports, so I can now properly close the meeting at 10 minutes past 7. Thank you for attending.